How many of you are chasing things in life that don't even matter to you? You wake up every day running, striving, hustling, but for what? What if I told you that in the next few minutes, I'm going to give you 3 powerful questions that cut through all the noise, all the confusion, all the doubt, and reveal exactly what you truly want in your life. These questions will light a fire inside you, align your energy, and make your purpose so clear that nothing can stop you. Are you ready to find out what's really yours? You want to get clear on what you really want, don't you? But here's the thing most people miss. They stop at the surface. They say, I want more money, or I want a better job, or I want to be happy. And those are fine as starting points, but they're just words. They're not enough to drive action, not enough to move you forward when challenges come, and certainly not enough to create the kind of life that excites you. Real clarity comes from digging deeper. Real clarity comes from asking yourself, what do I truly want and why? And I'm not talking about the obvious answer. I'm talking about the answer that touches your soul, that ignites a fire so strong it won't let you quit when life gets hard. Most people can tell you what they think they want, but few can tell you why they want it. And the why is everything. Because when you know your reason, when you feel it deep in your bones, that's what fuels unstoppable momentum. That's what gets you out of bed at 5 a.m., working on things others wouldn't touch, pushing forward when everyone else is giving up. Here's an exercise I want you to try in your mind right now. Think about the goal or the life you want. Now ask yourself, why do I want this? Give yourself a real answer, not a polite, surface level answer. Then ask yourself again, why does that matter to me? And again, why does that really matter? Keep asking until you feel it until it hits an emotional chord inside of you. Most people stop too soon, but the real juice comes after you've peeled back 3, 4, 5 layers. That's where your real motivation is hiding. That's where clarity lives. Let me give you an example. Someone might say, I want financial freedom. Okay, that's a goal, but why? Maybe they want it because they don't want to struggle every month. That's valid, but ask why again. Why do they not want to struggle? Maybe it's because they want to feel secure, because they want to stop feeling the stress that creeps into every conversation, every decision, every night before bed. Ask again. Why is that so important? Maybe it's because they want to create a life where their kids never worry, where they can experience the world without limits. Now you're talking about a reason that moves you, that makes you willing to sacrifice comfort today for a life that is extraordinary tomorrow. That's the kind of clarity that leads to action. And clarity isn't just about knowing what you want. It's about feeling it. Most people think clarity is intellectual. It's not. Clarity is emotional. It's a gut level certainty that this is worth everything you've got. Because here's the reality. If the why isn't strong enough, the how will always feel impossible. Obstacles will appear, and if your reason isn't strong, you'll stop. You'll let doubt creep in, or fear, or distraction. But when you know your why, it acts like a magnet. It pulls you forward. It gives you energy when you're exhausted. It lights a fire under you when everyone else is comfortable staying in their small, safe boxes. Now, don't mistake this for some quick fix exercise. This isn't about writing a list and feeling good about yourself for a few minutes. This is about a deep, honest conversation with yourself. It's about confronting the truth about what you really want, not what others tell you to want, not what society tells you to want, but what you genuinely crave. And it's about being willing to commit to that desire so completely that nothing else will satisfy you the same way. That's where transformation begins. So I want you to really see it. Picture yourself having exactly what you want, not just in a vague sense, feel it. Picture the life, the freedom, the impact, the people around you. Now notice how it feels in your body. That feeling, that's your true north. That's the clarity you've been searching for. The moment you connect with that feeling, with that reason, everything changes. Your decisions, your focus, your energy, it all aligns. And that alignment is what allows you to move forward with certainty, even when the path is messy or uncertain. Because here's the truth: life rewards clarity, the universe opportunity, and people respond to those who know what they want. The clearer you are, the less friction you face. And when you act from that clarity, everything you do becomes more powerful, more effective, and more aligned with the life you're meant to create. So start with the first question. Ask yourself, what do I truly want and why? Don't settle for the first answer. Keep digging. Feel it in your bones. Let it move you. And once you have that clarity, the rest of the journey becomes possible. Your clarity is your power. Once you've connected with what you truly want and why it matters, the next step is even more powerful. You have to ask yourself, who do I need to become to achieve this? Most people make the mistake of chasing goals like they're external trophies, like if they just grab the money, the promotion, or the recognition, somehow life will feel complete. But here's the truth. Your goals aren't out there waiting for you. They're inside you waiting to be unlocked. The life you want demands a version of yourself that doesn't exist yet, and that's what you have to create. Think about it for a moment. If you want to build a successful business, become extraordinarily fit, or create meaningful impact, the person who can do that doesn't just walk around in the same patterns, same habits, same comfort zone. That person thinks differently. That person acts differently. That person makes decisions differently. And that's the secret most people ignore. They try to achieve without becoming. They hope life will bend to their old version. And when it doesn't, they feel frustrated, stuck, or even defeated. So you have to ask yourself the hard questions. What habits, beliefs, and standards does the version of me who has what I want live by? What daily routines, attitudes, and choices define that person? If I want financial freedom, maybe that person invests wisely, takes calculated risks, and treats every dollar as a tool, not a toy. If I want to be a leader, maybe that person reads constantly, listens deeply, and challenges themselves every day to grow. Becoming that person isn't optional. It's mandatory if you want the results. And here's where most people stop before they even start. They look at the life they want and think, I can't do that yet. I'm not ready. But readiness isn't a prerequisite for success. It's an outcome of becoming. You become ready by acting, by choosing, by stepping into the habits and identity of the person who can create the life you've imagined. You don't wait for permission. You don't wait for the perfect time. You transform yourself and the world responds. Now, this isn't just about adding a few new behaviors. It's about a deep shift in identity. It's about upgrading your standards so that the old version of you can't even compete in the arena of your new life. It's about setting a line in the sand and saying, I'm no longer satisfied with who I was. I'm becoming who I must be to create what I desire. Because here's the reality: until your identity matches your goals, everything else feels like a struggle. You'll work hard, you'll try, you'll push, but it will always feel heavy because it's not aligned with who you truly are becoming. And becoming that person is a process. It's not a switch you flip overnight. It starts with awareness. Notice the gaps between your current habits and the habits of the person you need to be. Notice the beliefs that hold you back, the excuses, the fears. Awareness is the first step toward transformation. Then comes action, the daily practice of choosing differently, acting differently, and raising your standards in small, consistent ways. Every choice, every habit, every decision becomes an investment in the person you're becoming. You also have to surround yourself with the right influences. The people, environments, and information you expose yourself to either reinforce the person you were or accelerate the person you're becoming. If you want to level up, you can't keep repeating the patterns that kept you small. You have to step into new circles, learn from those who have walked the path, and create a support system that challenges and inspires you to rise. Identity is contagious. Who you spend time with either lifts you or limits you, and the choice is yours. And here's the beautiful part: the more you commit to becoming that person, the more effortless your results become. The skills, opportunities, and breakthroughs you need will start showing up because you are now the kind of person who attracts them. You're no longer chasing your dreams. You're living from a place that makes them inevitable. You see, the universe, people, and circumstances respond to your identity. When you become who you need to be, life aligns to match your energy and standards. So start today. Don't wait for motivation to strike or for the perfect moment. Decide who you must become and take the first small action that reflects that person. Build momentum through consistency, not luck. Every choice you make either strengthens your new identity or reinforces the old one. Be intentional, be relentless. And remember, the person you are becoming is more important than the goal itself, because the goal without transformation is temporary, but the person you become lasts a lifetime. Your future is a reflection of the person you choose to become. Now that you know what you truly want and who you need to become to achieve it, there's one more question you must face. This one is simple, but it's brutally honest, and it separates those who get stuck from those who break through. Ask yourself, what am I no longer willing to tolerate? Most people live their lives reacting to circumstances, letting frustrations, excuses, and other people dictate their reality. They tolerate relationships that drain them, habits that limit them, fears that control them, and environments that keep them small. And they wonder why nothing changes. The first step to real transformation is raising your standards and deciding what will no longer have power over you. Think about it. Every choice you make, every boundary you allow or fail to enforce sends a message about what you accept in your life. When you tolerate mediocrity, stress, toxic relationships, or self-doubt, you're effectively saying, this is okay, this is good enough. And here's the truth if you want extraordinary results. Good enough is your enemy. You must get uncomfortable with comfort. You must refuse to accept what doesn't serve your growth or align with your vision. Because until you do, no amount of clarity, strategy, or effort will get you past the limits you've unconsciously set. Start by identifying the things, people, or habits that drain your energy or keep you from moving forward. Maybe it's a habit of procrastination that you've justified for years. Maybe it's a negative friend or coworker who constantly undermines your confidence. Maybe it's a mindset, a story you keep telling yourself about why you can't succeed. Whatever it is, name it. Bring it out into the light. Clarity is not just about knowing what you want. It's about knowing what you will no longer accept. And naming it gives you the power to change it. Then make a decision. Decide that you will no longer allow those things to control your life. It doesn't mean life will be perfect overnight. Obstacles will still appear. People may resist your new boundaries, and habits may fight back. But the moment you commit to refusing to tolerate the things that hold you back, you shift the game entirely. You stop being a victim of circumstance and start being the architect of your life. You raise your standards, and when you do, life begins to match them. This is where courage meets clarity. It's easy to talk about goals and identity, but it's much harder to confront what has been quietly sapping your energy and limiting your growth. That's why so many people never reach their potential. They never say no to what's keeping them small. They allow fear, excuses, or comfort to define their limits. But when you take a stand, when you refuse to tolerate less than what you deserve, something remarkable happens. You awaken a power inside you that has always been there, but dormant, waiting for a moment of decision to unleash itself. And here's the key: raising your standards is not about anger or resentment. It's about love for yourself and your future. It's about creating the life you know you are capable of living. When you decide that you will no longer tolerate what doesn't serve you, you create space for what truly matters. You create room for better relationships, better opportunities, and better habits. You stop spending energy on things that don't matter and start directing it toward the life you've imagined. You'll also notice that when you refuse to tolerate what holds you back, your clarity and identity become unstoppable forces. The more intentional you are about cutting out the noise, the more aligned you become with the person you want to be. And once that alignment happens, motivation is no longer something you chase. It's something you feel every day. You begin to operate from a new standard, and from that standard, extraordinary results are inevitable. Here's an exercise I want you to do in your mind list: the things, habits, and relationships that are draining you, distracting you, or limiting you. Now imagine yourself stepping away from them completely, deciding that you are done tolerating them. Feel the weight lift. Notice the energy, clarity, and confidence that emerges. That feeling, that's the power of raised standards. That's the fuel that drives the next level of your life. And don't fool yourself into thinking this is easy or comfortable. Growth never is. But comfort never creates the life you want. The moment you say, I will no longer tolerate this, you declare war on mediocrity and you open the door to freedom, achievement, and fulfillment. It's a decision that will shape every choice you make from this moment forward. It's a declaration that your life matters enough to demand more from yourself, from your habits, from your surroundings, and from the people you allow close to you. So face the truth. Ask yourself what you are no longer willing to tolerate. Make a decision. Raise your standards. Cut the noise, lock in. No distractions. Because the life you want is waiting on the other side of your refusal to accept anything less. Your standards determine your destiny. Once you've connected with what you want, who you need to become, and what you will no longer tolerate, there's a principle that often gets overlooked, but is absolutely critical. Clarity comes from decision, not from confusion. Most people spend years trying to figure it all out, thinking that clarity is something you stumble upon, something that appears once life is perfectly aligned. The truth is, clarity doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment or collecting endless information. Clarity is something you create, and it is created the moment you make a committed decision. Think about it. If you wait until everything is perfectly clear, until every possible outcome is predictable, you will wait forever. Life will always have unknowns, uncertainties, and obstacles. Waiting for certainty is the same as choosing an action. But when you make a decision, even imperfectly, the fog lifts. Your mind focuses, your energy aligns, and suddenly opportunities that once seemed invisible become clear. Clarity is the result of action and commitment, not analysis and hesitation. And here's something important. You don't need to see the entire staircase to take the first step. Most people get paralyzed because they focus on the unknown steps ahead. They ask themselves, what if I fail? Or what if I choose the wrong path? That fear keeps them frozen. But here's the reality. Any action you take from a place of decision will teach you more than waiting ever could. Every step, even if imperfect, generates feedback, momentum, and insight. The act of deciding transforms confusion and direction. The moment you commit to a choice, you begin to eliminate distractions. You stop wondering what's next because your energy is no longer split. You are no longer asking yourself, should I do this or should I do that? Every choice you make with intention focuses your mind, your heart, and your resources on moving forward. That's why the most successful people make decisions fast and adjust as they go. They understand that clarity emerges through commitment. Now, many people mistake hesitation for wisdom. They think if they wait long enough, the perfect plan will appear and then success will be guaranteed. But life doesn't work that way. Waiting creates a sense of false security, but it also creates stagnation. The world moves forward while you stay stuck. Weigh in options. Second, guessing yourself and letting fear dictate your actions. Clarity is not the absence of risk. It's the presence of commitment. It's deciding I am going to move forward and I will adjust as I learn, adapt, and grow. Here's the powerful thing. When you generate clarity through decision, you unlock energy you didn't know you had. Indecision drains your mind and your body. It keeps you anxious, unfocused, and fragmented. But once you make a decision, your energy shifts. You are no longer caught in a loop of possibilities. You are freed to create, to act, and to build the life you imagine. Decision is the bridge between your current reality and your future potential. And clarity from decision is not just about the big, life-altering choices. It shows up in the everyday moments as well. Every action, every boundary, every yes or no you make contributes to your overall direction. Small decisions compound over time. Choosing to spend your time wisely, choosing to take responsibility for your results, choosing to focus on what matters, all of these feed into the clarity of your life. It's not about perfection, it's about alignment. The more intentional your decisions, the more aligned your life becomes. You also have to recognize that clarity from decision comes with courage. It requires a willingness to commit even when the outcome is uncertain. It means saying, I may not know everything, but I know enough to act and I will learn as I go. That willingness to step forward despite uncertainty is what separates those who drift through life from those who create it intentionally. Every successful person you admire has mastered this principle. They decided, they acted, They adjusted and they moved forward relentlessly. Here's an exercise to help you internalize this. Think about an area of your life where you've been stuck, unsure, or waiting for the perfect conditions. Now ask yourself, what decision can I make today that will move me forward, even if imperfectly? Don't wait for clarity to appear magically. Decide, act, and watch clarity emerge from your commitment. Every choice you make with focus sharpens your vision and strengthens your momentum. Remember, clarity is a product of action, not contemplation. Waiting for everything to make sense will keep you trapped in indecision. You create your own clarity by committing, deciding, and taking bold steps toward your vision. The fog lifts the moment you choose. Momentum begins the moment you act, and the path becomes visible as you move forward with intention and focus. Decision is the catalyst that turns your vision into reality. Once you've made the decisions that create clarity, you've started becoming the person you need to be, and you've refused to tolerate what doesn't serve you. There's another truth you have to embrace. Your past is a story, but your future is a choice. Too many people spend their lives looking behind them, reliving mistakes, replaying failures, or holding on to regret. They allow their past to dictate what they think is possible, and because of that, they limit themselves before they even try. But here's the powerful reality: your past is not a blueprint, it's simply context. Your past doesn't define you unless you give it permission. Your future is built from the choices you make today. Think about it. Every person who has ever achieved extraordinary results has had a past full of mistakes, failures, and setbacks. But what sets them apart is that they refuse to let those experiences become anchors. They use their past as a lesson, not a prison. They looked at what wrong, extracted the lesson, and decided, that doesn't define me. I am not my mistakes. I am not my history. I am the person who will rise above it. When you operate from that mindset, your past becomes fuel, not friction. It becomes the foundation upon which you build rather than the cage that holds you back. And here's the thing: you can't create a new future while you're chained to old stories. If you keep telling yourself, I failed before, so I can't succeed now, or I didn't have it before, so I won't ever have it, you are giving your past control over your life. Every time you focus on what didn't work, you reinforce patterns of limitation. But when you shift your focus to what could work, to what is possible, and to the person you are becoming, everything changes. Your energy shifts. Your decisions become aligned with growth. Your actions gain purpose. This doesn't mean you ignore your past. It means you reinterpret it, learn from it, and then move beyond it. Your history is simply a collection of experiences, some painful, some joyful, but none of them determine your potential. What matters is what you do with those experiences today. Will you let them dictate your possibilities, or will you use them as a launching pad? Every choice you make now, every action you take, is an opportunity to redefine your future. The moment you start operating from the perspective that your future is a choice, you gain power over your life. You stop blaming circumstances, luck, or other people for where you are. You stop waiting for permission or for conditions to be perfect. You understand that the only thing that matters is what you do today, right now, to create the life you want. And when you adopt this mindset, obstacles no longer feel like barriers. They become opportunities. Challenges become training grounds for growth. Setbacks become lessons that propel you forward rather than hold you back. One of the most powerful tools you have is imagination. Visualize the life you want as if it is already happening. See yourself living it, experiencing it, feeling it. The clearer your vision, the more real it becomes to your subconscious mind. Your past might whisper doubts, but your vision speaks louder. Your future is not something that randomly happens to you. It's something you design with intention. And the act of designing it begins the moment you decide to focus on possibilities instead of limitations. Another key aspect is letting go of self-imposed limitations. Most people underestimate the power of choice because they are still carrying old beliefs about who they are, what they deserve, or what is possible. But the truth is, identity is flexible and potential is limitless. You are not defined by the version of yourself that stumbled, doubted, or failed in the past. You are defined by the person you are becoming and the decisions you make today to step into that version. Every step forward is a declaration that you are choosing your future over your history. And when you start making this shift consistently, momentum builds. The more you focus on the possibilities ahead rather than the mistakes behind, the more your actions reinforce a future that matches your vision. The world responds to clarity, confidence, and action. Opportunities align, relationships improve, and your energy transforms. You begin to live in a state of creation rather than reaction. You begin to feel what it's like to be the architect of your own life. So here's the bottom line. Your past is a collection of stories, and you get to choose which ones you tell yourself. But your future is not a story yet. It is a blank canvas waiting for your decisions, your focus, and your action. Stop allowing yesterday to limit today. Stop letting old patterns define your potential. Every moment you decide to act, to learn, and to grow, you are creating a new possibility, a new version of yourself, and a new reality. Your future is your choice. Now that you've gained clarity, begun to transform where you need to be, refused to tolerate what holds you back, decided with intention, and focused on the future you want to create, there's one final truth to embrace: design your life, don't drift through it. Most people move from day to day without a plan, letting circumstances, other people, random events dictate the shape of their existence. They wake up, react, and go to bed wondering why life feels so heavy or unsatisfying. That's not living, that's drifting. If you want extraordinary results, you must take ownership of your life. Consciously create it and refuse to let it happen by accident. Designing your life starts with vision. You have to see in vivid detail the life you want to live. Not vaguely, not in generalities, but in a way that excites your heart and ignites your energy. Picture your day, your relationships, your health, your work, and your impact. Feel the emotions as if it is happening now. The clearer and more compelling your vision, the more magnetized your mind becomes to the opportunities, people, and decisions that align with it. Clarity and vision are inseparable. One fuels the other, creating a gravitational pull towards your goals. But vision alone is not enough. You must create a system of habits, routines, and standards that support that life. Most people underestimate the power of daily choices. They think success comes from occasional effort or bursts of motivation. It doesn't. Your life is shaped by what you consistently do, think, and believe. If your daily actions are not aligned with your vision, it doesn't matter how clear you are, how motivated you feel, or how talented you are, the results will never match your potential. Designing your life means engineering your days so that they naturally produce the outcomes you desire. And here's the part most people avoid. It requires responsibility. You cannot blame others, circumstances, or luck for where you are or where you want to go. Drifting is easy because it requires no accountability, no hard choices, no courage. But when you take full responsibility, you gain freedom. Responsibility doesn't feel like a burden. It feels like power. Every decision you make, every action you take, and every boundary you set becomes a tool to construct the life you imagine. You stop reacting to the world and start creating in it. Designing your life also means embracing your influence. You have more power than you think. Your environment, your relationships, the content you consume, and the energy you bring into every situation all shape your reality. Most people underestimate this and allow outside forces to dictate their mood, focus, and choices. But when you intentionally choose your surroundings, the people you engage with, and the information you absorb, you amplify your growth. You create momentum that moves you naturally toward your vision. Life becomes less about fighting friction and more about riding the current you've designed. Another key principle is aligning emotion with your vision. Life isn't built purely on logic, it's built on emotional drive. When your goals are tied to deep, meaningful emotions, you will act consistently even when challenges arise. Your vision must excite you, scare you, and inspire you all at once. That energy is the engine of creation. Without it, even the best plans fade and effort becomes a struggle. With it, momentum becomes unstoppable. And every obstacle transforms into an opportunity to grow and refine your design. And remember, designing your life doesn't mean rigidity. Life will always throw challenges, surprises, and setbacks your way. But a well-designed life gives you the flexibility to respond intentionally rather than react unconsciously. You create a framework that supports your vision while allowing adaptability. You know your direction, your priorities, and your standards. So when change comes, you adjust without losing momentum. Drifters get tossed by every wave. Creators ride the waves and steer the course. Most importantly, designing your life means acting now. Too many people think they'll create their life someday when conditions are perfect, when they feel ready, when the stars align. That day rarely comes. Life rewards action, momentum, and courage. You begin designing your life by taking the next step, by making the next decision, by committing to the habits and standards of the person you are becoming. Every action compounds, every decision aligns, and before long, the life you imagine begins to materialize. So make this choice today. Refuse to drift, refuse to wait, refuse to settle. Step into the role of creator, architect, and leader of your own life. Commit to designing each day with intention, focus, and energy. Build the routines, relationships, and environment that elevate you. Align your emotions with your vision and act relentlessly toward it. The life you want is not something that will happen to you. It is something you must create piece by piece, moment by moment, decision by decision. The life you live tomorrow is the result of the life you design today.